Ha ha ha. What is up, haters and supporters? Today I am joined by Dorodo, that bear over there. He's my son. If you clicked on this video, you relate to being locked in and then being on a rut. This very problem is what kept me from making progress. Like any sort of actual worthwhile progress, I just couldn't. Because every time I would quote unquote lock in, I would get in a rut and a lot of time would pass and I really would get nothing done. Maybe I start going to the gym a little bit. Maybe I started my little business, my little side hustle. But again, nothing would get done. And that finally changed. Now I'm a decently successful entrepreneur. That sounds so cringe to say. But this month my business did $10,000 in revenue. Last month it actually did $35,000 in revenue. We're progressing little and little. And literally before November I saw barely any money. My highest month I think was like 3,000. But all this came from finally being able to be disciplined and finally being able to be consistent and do it over a long enough period of time without getting into ruts. Now let me tell you something. Even though I've been consistent and decently disciplined for, I'd say since around late 2024, so it's been around a year and a half now, I've still gotten into minor ruts. And here's the thing. Maybe there is a version of you that never ever gets into ruts. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. But they're almost inevitable. When you push yourself so hard, most of us will burn out. And I kind of cringe sometimes when I say burn out, because I think to myself, that's burning out is for losers. At least that's what a lot of people say, and that's kind of the thought that gets into my head when I think of this. Burning out is for losers. You have to grind harder. I think that mindset isn't entirely horrible. I think I'm just not there yet. I'm not there yet to be a total workaholic, workhorse, absolute disciplined grind mode. I've been disciplined. I've been really locked in. But to get to that stage is something else. Right now, what you have to do, what I did, was lower the time from being in a rut to getting back on your feet again. And how the flip do you do that? I think the best piece of advice I could have given my past self, and even now, I apply my advice now, but back then it was what I needed to hear, is lower your freaking ego down. You do not have monk-like, god-like, hero-like, mythical character-like discipline or willpower. You are a human being who is programmed with years of addictions and comforts and first world amenities and junk food and screens. You're screwed. You have a monkey brain. You have to take really, really tiny steps. Tiny steps that you think are beneath you. I'm talking about going on a 1-minute walk. Literally, most of you right now, I don't want you to click off this video, but I think it would be ideal for you to click off this video and go on a 1-minute walk. Please stay on this video. It doesn't have to be a 1-minute walk. You could get out of bed. That's an even smaller step. And by the way, I'm not going to be the type of person who says, just get out of bed, bro, claiming that's such an easy thing to do. I actually think it's really freaking hard for you to get out of bed, but it's a step that you could take. I'm not going to ask you to go sit down or go to the gym and hit a really hard workout. I think it's literally impossible for you to do that. I think you don't have the free will to be able to do that. If for some reason this motivated you to go to the gym and hit a really hard workout, it's still not your free choice. The only reason you're going is because, I don't know, reverse psychologying you into doing that, even though I'm not trying to do that. I thought of myself as someone who didn't have free will. No, hold on. I technically don't believe in free will, but that belief doesn't really serve me. So you have to choose, in addition to doing tiny steps, you have to rewire your brain. Like I said, even though we don't have free will, it's better for us to believe we have free will. But if free will isn't real, then it's probably reasonable to say if there is any little chance we have any type of will whatsoever, it's probably really limited. Especially if we're losers, inconsistent, brain rot, drunk, whatever we are. So we have to use that little bit of will to rewire our brain. This is what I want you to do. I don't want you to think of yourself being lazy and beat yourself up. That just does nothing. That's probably just wallowing in self-pity, which I used to do so often. And I don't think you're a bad person for it. I think you don't have any free will and you can't help it. I really think you can't help it. You have to think good thoughts, and eventually you will learn more. I can't say everything in this video. There's so many things you need to learn. And honestly, maybe you've been consuming all brain art is trash. My self-development content is trash. All self-development content is trash. You have to take action. But I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, go take action, bro. But honestly, if you stop watching anime or, I don't know, playing video games and watch self-improvement content, that's probably a really small baby step that's not too hard, that it will eventually get you out of your rut. Sometimes when I was in a rut, I used to even avoid self-development content because it would hold me accountable. But I don't know. God bless you if you believe in love, or if you believe in love, you already believe in God because God is love. But who am I to know? I'm just a measly little human being.